What's up? It's a Game Bastard. Last week I posted a video about some 3DO games I picked up, and I ended up trading some of the duplicates I had in for one game. Pretty notorious game, actually. So I'm going to do a mini review on that game, and I also picked up some other goodies here. So the game I picked up was the infamous Custers Revenge. This is a complete boxed copy. And if you're not familiar with this game, it's for the Atari 2600, and I think the cover pretty much gives everything away. Right on the top there we have an adult-only cartridge. So if you're under 18 and you can't stand pixelated boobies and pixelated Custer cock, then you should probably not watch this video or fast forward a little bit. However, if you're okay with that, this game, you play the cartoonish depiction of General Custer, and you move from one side of the screen to the other, avoiding arrows to essentially rape a Native American woman who is poorly tied up to a pole, as we can see in the cover here. She looks very distraught, doesn't she? There's also a difficulty level that you can set up where cactuses randomly appeared on the screen and without much sense to it. And the game was actually pretty easy. It just, all that happened was you score. Yeah, I'm sorry, that's literally what they call it in this game too. You score with her and you gain points, and every 50 points moves you up a level, and then the game gets faster and so on and so forth. If you don't know who General Custer is, however, he was a man who was a brigadier general in the volunteer army and a lieutenant colonel in the standard army in the mid to late 1800s. Most well known for actually the spectacular military failure that he was involved in at the Battle of Little Bighorn, also known as Custer's Last Stand. What ended up happening there was kind of a mystery, actually. He split his forces into 4 groups to try to sandwich in a Native American village. I believe it was Sioux Indians. Him and every man that was with him died that day. Nobody was really sure what happened to him. There was lots of speculation. But in 2005, the Cheyenne Indians actually released, well, they broke their silence and said that it was a woman that actually killed him by the name of Buffalo Calf Road Woman, or Brave Woman. Maybe Mystic, the company that produced this game, had a little insight on that. If you read the back of this cartridge, it does say that the woman in this game is named Revenge. Maybe, just maybe, this is the lady that killed Custer. Probably not. And I have one theory why this is. General Custer was married to a woman named Elizabeth Bacon Custer. I fucked your mother not. Elizabeth Bacon Custer. No man in the history of men would ever cheat on a woman with bacon in her name. I'm just putting that out there. As you can imagine, this game got a lot of negative press and a lot of backlash, especially from women's rights groups and Native American rights groups. Atari even had a lawsuit out against them because back then publishing rights were all fucked up and anybody could make a game in their basement and release it for the console. So they got a lot of complaints against this game. It was banned in a lot of stores, a lot of cities. Most places didn't even carry it. If they did, they had it underneath the counter and you had to ask for it. So it's kind of a black mark in the video game history, but a curiosity nevertheless. The rights of the game were sold to a company called PlayAround, which re-released the game as Westward Ho and The White Man Came. Haha, I see what you did there. Instead of it being a lady tied up to a pole, she's beckoning Custer, and the box art's different, and they try to tame it down a little bit. They also released a game called General Retreat, which is a role reversal, where you are the Native American woman, again, hungry for that pixelated Custer cock. So, that's pretty much what I got on this game. If you really want to play something that's just bizarre and kind of fucked up and dark, but not meant to be, I don't feel like they did this on purpose, but maybe they did. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's fucking hard to say. This is 1982, by the way, when this game came out. So, it was a different world back then. Definitely was. But, let's move on. I also picked up some good games. I think, maybe. I don't know, I got some random games. Stopped at Half Price Books and got myself an actual Japanese copy of House of the Dead 2 for Dreamcast, if you can see that. Oh, my lighting is really shitty today, I'm so sorry. I think Half Price Books has started to eBay the prices on their games, because I used to be able to walk in there and get games for fucking cheap, but they've gone up. And in fact, this one says, requires a Japanese Sega Dreamcast or a Dreamcast Game Shark. Not anybody out there was going to know that. You'd have to be, you know, a fucking video game nerd to know that you're going to need a Game Shark to play this game. So, just a little heads up out there for all you Half Price Books video game shoppers. I also wandered into Level Up in South St. Paul today and got a handful of games. This one is called Monkey Hero, and it's for the PlayStation. It looks like a Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past type of game, which is cool with me. One of my favorite games in recent releases was a game called 3D Dot Game Heroes by Atlas for the PlayStation 3, and it's so much fun. Just a Zelda knockoff, Zelda worship game, if you will. And they're not shy about it either. Pretty much make fun of the fact that they're ripping off Zelda. And it was like $30 new. I mean, you couldn't go wrong getting this game. You could probably get a copy for $15-20 used. So I really, really suggest you do if you own a PlayStation 3. I also picked up for the PlayStation Martian Gothic Unification. I don't have any idea what this game is about. It looked like a survival horror game, so I figured I'd give it a run, but I haven't played it yet, so I'll keep you updated. I also got Mech Assault 2 Lone Wolf. I love mechs. I don't actually own an Xbox. I own many PlayStations. I don't actually own an Xbox because I don't know. It's such a mediocre console with mediocre releases. So one of these days I'll pick one of them up, but I really don't have any interest in it. When I was down there today at Level Up, there was a guy selling this, and I ended up picking up for like $8. And this box is beat to shit. But this is the Sears version of the Atari 2600, the video arcade system. The console itself looked pretty much identical to a Atari 2600. Still got the wood grain in the front there. It says Telly Games up here, and it's got the metal, I don't know what you want to call this, guard, display piece, whatever. Came with a couple controllers and some paddles. I don't know if they're actually official Atari controllers that are in here or not. It doesn't actually say anything on them, so whatever. Doesn't really matter all that much, I guess. And on the Atari world here, I have a box of sealed Atari games. Who would have thunk it? The Atari was a little before my time. I was born in 1984. So I grew up with the Nintendo, although my parents actually did have an Atari 2600. So I did play it a little bit when I was a kid. But I don't really know the library very well. So some of these games I don't really know what they are, but I'll kind of guess. But right off the bat, I do know these games. And I actually got 2 copies, and you probably can't tell, but the labels, this label is lighter than this label, and I don't know why that is. But this is Dig Dug. And this is a pretty famous arcade game. They're a lot of fun. I really like the Dig Dug games. Next is actually the only opened game that's in here. This is Galaxian. I hope I'm saying that right. Looks like a Space Invaders kind of game. Probably pretty cool. Next we have a classic. This is Asteroids for the Atari. If you've never played Asteroids, man, I don't know what the hell you're doing here. Play fucking Asteroids. Next up we have Gravatar for the 2600, and I don't know what this game is about. Defeat the deadly G-forces. Apparently they don't like gravity. Next up is Battlezone. This is like a third-person tank shooter looking game for the 2600, so it looks really weird, but probably cool. Next up is another classic. I actually really, really like this game. This is Joust. I've only played the Atari version, but I'm more familiar with the arcade and version. When I was a kid, I used to go to this little daycare place, and they had a copy. They had the actual arcade cabinet of Joust, and I played the shit out of that game. If you don't know Joust, you are a dude on an ostrich with a joust, and you joust with other people. kind of. You fly around, and it's a platformer, and I don't know, it's fun. You should play it. We got a couple generic sports ball games. Baseball, it's fucking baseball. Football, it's fucking football. And because football is boring, we have Super Football, just to make it a little less boring. Next we have what looks to be a Pitfall ripoff. This is Jungle Hunt. I don't know it at all. In fact, I think... No, never mind. I was thinking that I might have had this. They might have made this game for... Oh, they made Safari Hunt for the Mega System. That's what I'm thinking of. This is Pole Position. Pole. For the 2600. I, for some reason, have 2 copies of that in here. I don't know why. And then the only 7800 game that's actually in here, Pole Position 2, which is, you know, a racing game for this 7800. And last but not least, we have a game called Kangaroo, and I have no idea what this game is. It says, Mama Roo needs your help to reach her stranded cub. Help her hop, climb, and leap up the tree while warding off mischievous monkeys that try to stop her. Earn points along the way by eating the delectable fruit that dangles in your path for 1 or 2 players. So you eat fruit to rescue your cubs from monkeys, apparently. It was, you know, this is the 80s and 70s, you know, they had to work with what they had to work with. So if anybody out there knows anything about these games, again, these are all sealed, so I'm not going to be opening these things up. Let me know. I'd really be interested to see what these games are like. And, yeah, that's what I got for you today, so I'll be seeing you later. Rock the fuck on.